Hey guys, this is David, and today we're going to find out why an electric dryer isn't starting. We'll be checking voltage, an open thermal fuse, the timer, the door switch, the push-to-start switch, the belt switch, and the drive motor. Before we get started, hit those like and subscribe buttons if you want to join our do-it-yourself repair community and get notified each time we post a new video. With over 2 million products in stock and the know-how to help you do it yourself, we are AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, 1/4-inch nut driver, 20 Torx bit, a flathead screwdriver, a putty knife, and a multimeter. We can't forget that we will also need a pipe wrench, a socket wrench, and a 1/2-inch socket extension. While you're getting those things together, remember to keep safety first. Live power warning. Normally you would unplug your appliance before you do any work on it. But we need the dryer's power on at this point to check the voltage. Please be very careful here. Always take extreme care when checking live voltage so you can protect yourself from electric shock, which has the potential to cause serious injuries. And please don't ever test the voltage if you're uncomfortable using a multimeter. To check for voltage, we need to access the terminal block. We can do this by using a 1/4-inch nut driver to remove the cover. Make sure the dryer is plugged in. Then set your multimeter for voltage. When you use the meter to check from the red wire to the white wire, you should get a reading of 120 volts AC. Now check from black to white. You should get another reading of 120 volts AC. Finally check from red to black, you should read 240 volts AC. The dryer needs 240 volts AC to run in heat. If you don't get the right voltage, it can mean that the wrong amount of voltage is coming from the house, or the terminal block is burned or defective. You might also have a burned or defective power cord. If the voltage readings are good, we can move on to see what's going on with the thermal fuse. Now go ahead and unplug that dryer so we can continue. To get to the thermal fuse, use your putty knife to push in on the clips that hold the bottom panel in place. Then remove the panel. You'll find the thermal fuse on the blower housing. It should have 2 blue wires going to it. We can test it by setting the multimeter to continuity, which looks like a sideways Wi-Fi symbol. We need to remove one of the wires and check for continuity. If we don't get continuity, meaning the circuit is open, then the fuse is bad and needs to be replaced. A thermal fuse will normally open up if the temperature in the drum has gotten too hot, which normally means a restricted vent is the problem. In this case, our thermal fuse is open, so it needs to be replaced. If your thermal fuse is good, we can check the door switch. To access the door switch, use a Phillips head screwdriver and remove the 2 screws at the back of the console. Push it forward and up. Use the 1/4-inch nut driver to remove the top panel. You should be able to see the switch on the right side, and you'll have access to the connector, which you can then separate. Now use your multimeter to check the 2 pins going to the switch. There should be continuity with the door closed. If there's no continuity, the switch will need to be replaced. You can also tell if the switch is bad by looking inside the door to see if the tab that connects the door is broken or missing. If your door switch is good, our next stop is the push-to-start switch. The push-to-start switch is located in the console. So grab your multimeter to check the red and black and solid blue connectors for continuity when the switch is pushed in. If there's no continuity, the switch is defective and needs to be replaced. If your push-to-start switch is good, we can move on to more testing. Let's take a look at the timer to see if the switch in the timer is closed and allowing voltage to get to the motor circuit. Then look at the contacts marked BLK or black and BU or blue. Next, turn your dryer to a setting where it would normally be running. If you use the multimeter probes to test the contacts here, it should read closed or continuity.
If the switch is open so you don't get continuity, then the timer is defective and needs to be replaced. If the timer checked out okay, we can move on to the belt switch. To check the pulley, use your Phillips head screwdriver to remove the 2 console screws from the back.
Once the screws are removed, lift up on the control panel to uncover the 3/4-inch screws that need to be removed. Once the 3/4-inch screws are removed, slide the top panel forward and up to reveal the top of the drum. Next, you need to unplug your door switch. Using a putty knife, push in on the 2 clips and remove the access panel. Now, remove your dryer vent duct by removing the 3/4-inch screws surrounding the duct. Once the duct is off, remove the 2 springs located on the bottom corners of your dryer. Once the springs are removed, go ahead and remove the 2/4-inch screws that are holding the door panel. Now go to the top of the door panel and remove the 2 20-bit Torx screws. Now lift up on the front panel and it should come up. Remove the belt from the motor pulley and now you should be able to lift up on the drum and the belt and put it aside.
The switch can be found at the base of the idler pulley. This switch opens up and stops the motor from running if the belt breaks or comes off the pulley.
In order to get to the belt switch, we have to remove the motor. In order to remove the motor, we have to remove the blower wheel. Insert the 1/2-inch socket extension inside the blower wheel center hub. Then, take the vise grips or pipe wrench and secure the belt pulley so it can't turn. Next, attach the socket wrench and rotate the extension to the right to loosen it. It comes off backwards. Then spin the blower wheel off and remove it. A side note here, many of the blower wheels have been on so long they will not come off this way. You may have to take a hammer and screwdriver and break the old blower wheel off, which is what we had to do on this model. Remove the clips that hold the motor, remove the wire connector and wire from the belt switch, and make a note or take a photo of where the wires are connected. Now you can remove the motor. You should see and be able to test the belt switch from here.
We can test it by setting the multimeter to continuity, which looks like a sideways Wi-Fi symbol, and pulling the tension roller over by hand to activate the micro switch. If there's no continuity here, the switch has failed and will need to be replaced. If you get continuity and your belt switch is good, we can continue testing. We're about to check voltage here, but before we turn the dryer back on, make sure the door switch is connected to test the drive motor. You'll also need to pull the belt switch over so that it's closed. Once you get to the motor, plug the power cord in or turn the breaker on. Then set your multimeter to the voltage setting and put one probe in the motor switch indicated 4M and the other in the 5M. After you do that, press the push to start switch. You should get a reading of 120 volts AC at that point. If the voltage is good and the motor doesn't start, replace the motor.
Once you're done, reinstall the drum and drum belt, reattach the belt to the pulley, then the front panel with the door switch. Then go to the bottom and connect your door springs. From there, you want to install the blower housing vent. Then you want to go back to the top to put the top panel back on and then secure the console. And don't forget to plug your dryer back in.
We hope you were able to find the part that failed in your dryer. If you need a replacement, grab your model number and head over to appliancepartspros.com so you can order one. Most orders arrive in just a few days. We'd also love to hear from you. Feel free to share the highs and lows of your repair in the comments. If you found this video useful, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.